back to the Vision stage. Thanks everybody for joining us. We've got a great topic on citizen developer programs coming up. We've got Sarah Thompson from PwC, and we have David Espinoza from Cushman and Wakefield. Enjoy.
Thank you so much for joining us at the Vision stage. I'm Sarah Thompson from PwC, joined by Dave Espinoza from Cushman and Wakefield. We're going to talk to you today about Cushman's citizen development journey. We're going to talk a little bit about what is citizen development, what are the benefits to the enterprise as well as to employees, why it's important to align a program like this with your company's strategic agenda, and how you measure the success of something like this. So before we jump in, I will introduce myself a little bit. Hopefully no one's disappointed to see me instead of Michael, whose name was on the agenda. He unfortunately got sick, so you're stuck with me. Jumped in last minute, but we figure we talk about this literally every day, so it'd be pretty easy anyway. So I'm Sarah Thompson again. I'm a manager with PwC in our workforce transformation practice. I'm working with Dave and Cushman to help them launch their citizen development program. I have a background in change management, workforce strategy, culture transformation, and I was also lucky enough to actually be a participant in PwC's own citizen development program years ago. And so I love that I get to bring a perspective as not only an advisor, but also as a participant in something like this to the table here. Dave, you want to introduce yourself?
Sounds great. I am Dave Espinoza. I'm a director with Cushman and Wakefield. I specifically lead the hyperautomation program within Cushman's larger transformation program. I'm also responsible for production support and then embedding and expanding our use of low-code, no-code technologies throughout the business via the citizen developer program that we're working to enhance and to evolve.
Awesome. So Cushman, when I started working with them, had already had a thriving, successful, enterprise-led automation COE, and they've decided to launch a citizen development program in addition to that. So first, just briefly, I'll talk a little bit about what citizen development is. So a citizen developer is a business user that has the skill and the upskilling opportunity to learn low-code or no-code tools like UiPath to be able to build automations themselves on their laptops. It's a program to really help democratize technologies like UiPath, again, to empower employees and create a culture of continuous improvement and innovation in the employees' hands. So, Dave, since you already had the automation COE, why was it important for you to launch this citizen-led program in addition to that?
In all honesty, it was a no-brainer for us. Really, we're just following where the work is going. The technology is leading the way and making the work more accessible to broader swaths of the organization, so it made sense for us to go there. The COE that we have, I use an analogy. The team here that I work with will probably laugh because they've heard it so many times, but you can think of our COE as like a Tyrannosaurus Rex. It is born and it is bred and it is evolved to do very specific things. With that, there is an economic model associated to it, right? Things have to be large enough, big enough for us to throw professional developers at those particular opportunities, which means there are tons and tons of opportunities that exist within our organization that this T-Rex, our COE, cannot tap because of its tiny little arms, right? So we just know in the cracks and crevices and closest to the employees, there is just tons of opportunity. There's also tons of potential revenue, and there's also tons of potential new opportunities for expansion of our business. So really, it's about bringing that, what we're calling the unstoppable T-Rex, so extending the arms of the T-Rex, allowing it to get into those cracks and crevices, and also take on the largest, most hairy problems that exist within our organization.
Thank you. So with a program that's enterprise-led, I think we're all here because we know the benefits of automation to a company at the enterprise level. But what are the unique benefits of doing a citizen-led program? maybe for the employees and not only the enterprise?
Yeah, so we're really focused on a lot of this being a talent development and a learning and a development play associated to the continuous improvement aspects and really the value, the time savings aspects associated to this. So right, obviously we would not be getting into this space if there wasn't value associated to it for the business, but there is real value and real import associated to the work that's going on and the benefit that's being given back and being generated by our employees. So we are providing one-on-one coaching, we are providing office hours, we are engaging with them through multiple channels in order to keep them engaged based on their different personas, to keep them wanting to be part of the organization. And then we're also trying to bring rewards and recognition. So I know it was a little bit during the keynote, but someone talked about bringing attention. We're trying to bring attention to the deepest parts of our organization and directly to the employee. And we're trying to create a culture of innovation and initiative, right? So we're exposing our employees to really new and different ways of working, really new and different technologies. And we're allowing them, we're basically ceding control and allowing them to take on and prioritize the things that make the most sense to themselves and to their managers, right? So it's the collaboration between those two groups that are really unlocking the value and boosting the satisfaction for the employee. We know that upskilled workforces, right, especially in our case, lead to more satisfied customers who are experiencing and interfacing with employees who have deeper skill sets, deeper, broader skill sets, are going to be stickier clients and stickier accounts. And then we just know that if those folks bring those skills to bear, they're going to unlock new potential for us directly interfacing with the client.
Awesome, thank you. So now that you've been talking about how this plays into the client experience, I'm curious to hear how this plays into your firm's strategic agenda overall, and how did that help you work with your executive leadership team?
Yeah, so we have a really great steerco. I don't know if everybody at every organization can say that, but we have a fantastic steering committee. And we have consistently gone back to them and we consistently use our firm's strategic priorities as the North Star for what we're doing. On a tactical basis, on a strategic basis, they're telling us what they have the appetite to do. They're also telling us what is our priority, right? So they're providing us with guiding principles that say, right, we should be democratizing as opposed to focusing on building. We should be building career pathways for people as a part of this. We should be focusing on things that deliver for our clients or create operational efficiency or even create this high-performance culture. One of the things that we really, really wanted to do through this was to surface folks who just normally wouldn't participate in these types of activities. And so it wasn't just about the nomination process of bringing people into our citizen development program. It was also about the self-nomination process and going to different groups within the organization to bring them in, to sort of like tap into different parts of the organization through our ERGs and find different folks who wouldn't normally step out in front in something like this, but who absolutely have the capability and will be rock stars once they're exposed to it.
And I think as we're talking about the steerco, given a lot of the themes you just talked about, I think people are often interested, like who is part of your steering committee? Can you just briefly mention the kind of executives that you are working with?
Yeah.
Their positions?
Yeah, so we have a really strong partnership with HR. So the global head of DE&I is on our steering committee. The global head of talent is on our steering committee. The chief transformation is on our steering committee. And then we're also looking to expand our steering committee. We knew that it was not going to be static for the entire period of time that we went through this full process. And so we're looking to bring additional folks specifically based in EMEA. So one of our heads of UK strategy, and then also our chief technical and data officer onto our steering committee as well. It just makes sense. We're getting to that point where we're evolving and we're getting enough scale that it makes sense for us to start augmenting and bringing in some different ideas and getting some different strategic direction.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what we're expecting to see from the program. So what are some of the outcomes that we're looking to see?
A lot of the same things that you would see from an enterprise automation perspective, right? So we are obviously expecting to see more consistent processes, process compliance, faster work completion, less touch time, right? All of that are the normal things that we're looking to see, but we're also looking to make sure that we are opening up opportunities for people to not just stay within their specific service lines or their specific functions, but providing them with new skills and opportunities so that they can move throughout the organization and start to bring these skills and these talents into other parts, right? So we would love to eventually have citizen developers who become champions, who become executives throughout the organization, and even one day become CEOs, right? So that they're bringing this sort of framework and this mentality into our culture and disseminating it throughout our culture.
Awesome. I'm watching the time. Since we have a few extra minutes, I'm going to throw in a curveball question for you.
Okay.
Given some of these outcomes that we're looking to achieve, how are we going about scaling this program? What are some of the things we're doing to kind of, build it out and make it more self-sustainable so it can scale?
Yeah, right. So total curveball question and a great one.
Sorry, Dave.
So what we're really trying to do, at least as we're laying it out, is we've been piloting our program in multiple instances. We're actually in the middle of our beta pilot. We had an alpha pilot. I think our alpha pilot started with like roughly 30 participants. Our beta pilot now brings us up to, I think, 80 participants in total. Our personas tend to be that there are what we're calling engaged consumers, which is basically everyone throughout the organization. And the idea is to basically educate them and empower them with the knowledge associated to what is possible, right? To let them know that there are these technologies that exist out there, to make connections and network pathways for them, to surface those ideas to citizen developers, which would be our sort of next tier within the group, right? Those are the folks who have high degrees of domain knowledge. They have high degrees of platform knowledge, not platform expertise per se, but a lot of platform knowledge. And they're the ones who are doing a lot of the coding, so it's the partnerships between the educated consumers and the citizen developers. They're really starting to build the base of the pipeline coming into our program. And then the other thing that we're looking to do is really build what we're calling a leverage layer around digital accelerators. So we think there's probably a 1-to-10 ratio of digital accelerators to citizen developers. And the idea would be that those digital accelerators are the ones who do the coaching, they're the ones who do the one-on-one support. They start to form sort of like the programmatic mass in the middle of our planet of citizen development. And they're the ones who really start to build and breathe life into the community that orbits around them. So we're really working very hard to deepen and broaden that population of digital accelerators. I don't think that we will get to the scale that we want to be at, which is essentially growing our program to about 10 times what it is now, without having that capability in place, right? We need a deep well of people who have platform knowledge, who can essentially act as those solution architects and guide the citizen developers to the correct platforms and the sort of more efficient, most efficient ways of solving their problems.
Awesome. Thank you. Sorry to throw the curveball.
No, great one.
Handled it very well. And so lastly, I'm curious, if you and I are here standing on this stage again next year, maybe we'll get the big stage next year. If we're here again, what will success look like a year from now?
Yeah, I think that's also a great question, but a really hard question, and I don't think there's actually one specific answer associated to it. So, like I said, we want to grow our program by 10 times. If we don't grow our program by 10 times, it's still successful. If we're creating a community around those digital accelerators and around the citizen developers, if they're able to support each other and go to each other, I think that's honestly going to be very successful. We talked about going to our steering committee, and one of the guiding principles our steering committee told us was like, do not focus on the dollars and cents value. Like, don't ignore it, because we're eventually going to want to get there, but don't focus on it initially. What's really important is engagement and activation of our employees. Bring them in, let them start to do things. If that means that they start building like a GIF generator or like a happy quote generator, that's fine. You just can't do that forever, right? So we'll start to steer you into different directions of things that you should be doing. But if we have that community going, I think it's we get to that unstoppable T-Rex phase.
Yes.
Because not only are they solving their own problems, but they're kicking opportunities up to the COE that the COE can tackle as well. So it really sort of starts to create this cycle of benefit from the very bottom of the organization all the way up to the professional development side of the organization.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for answering all my questions. We would love to hear more questions from you all. Our time is up on this stage, but you can find myself over by the PwC booth for the rest of the day. We have some cool tools to show you. We have some tools that we're using at Cushman and Wakefield, a learning platform called ProEdge. I would love to demo that with you all. And if Dave's around, he can talk to you about how much people are loving it at Cushman.
And you alluded to it, but I just want to say it out loud. Sarah got the proverbial call up at 3 a.m. in the middle of the night that the person who was supposed to be doing this could not do it. And you stepped up in a huge way. You killed it, absolutely. Congratulations.
You too, my goodness. Well, thank you all so much. Looking forward to hearing from you later on. Thank you.